Chaps. Back over to Matt Strawberries, Ollie and Emma.
Thank you very much indeed, Ian. We do very much appreciate that. I'm not too sure on the strawberry.
It sums them up pretty well, doesn't it? I think that's just Ian, everyone. And I'll be honest with you, that's just him outside of the camera, not just on. That's him to a T.
Oh, the camera doesn't matter.
What you get is what you see, and that is the Chambers effect.
The camera doesn't change.
Nope.
Ian, I've seen Ian do a desk in a taxi before.
Only thing that changes is the clothes he wears. That's it. Everything else is the same. Same day in, day out. That's what we have to deal with.
Something else that has changed is the social vote.
Oh, yes.
We have got some turncoats in the chat tonight, and honestly, I cannot blame you. I'm moulding that my prediction has gone through wrong into production. Could be left with egg on my face at the end of this one. A lot of you guys have switched up and have, in fact, opted to back Totem, and honestly, who can blame you? No. With the way that we've seen those boys attacking so far tonight, on Villa, no less. Now you look at a map like Bank, opportunities everywhere here. Now, the saving grace, I guess, for Hellraisers is they're going to be starting off on the attack, and pending how these bans go, we could see it edge in their favour. Zero and Hibana. Now, the Zero ban's curious. We saw Totem make really good use of Zero. I think Zero's got a lot of value on this map as a whole. The ability to get deep information very quickly from the rappel is massive here, Demo.
And not only that, has the hard breach gadgets. As we
Secondary hard breach.
Hibana is a given to be banned out and back.
Yeah.
That's what we always see. Hibana gone, it means that the hatches, especially for that basement, it's not going to be as easy. And not only for the hatches, but even trying to use your Hibana charges to actually have, ranged projectiles onto certain walls to make it easier to open up. You think about the Canto walls on the top floor. You want to make sure you can do that at range.
Yeah.
So we have actually seen a lot of teams be forced into almost an ace pick a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Or we see teams go with the double hard breach gadget, usually coming out from a Zero and a Buck combination has been the most common at the moment. And there's the Buck.
I was scared for a moment. We saw an Amaru. We might still see an Amaru.
True.
Has a rush, got the minerals. It's unlikely that he's going to switch off the Maverick. The Maverick is very handy indeed.
I mean, is it needed? Well, maybe it's needed because Kaid's open. It's very rare that we would actually see Kaid open. Usually he gets forced banned, but then again, Thatcher's open, so maybe it would just, it's easier to bring that.
It's the nades.
I mean, Maestro ban is a new one that we haven't seen.
It is.
In quite a while. Great ban. Phenomenal ban. We've seen Maestro have a lot of effect, especially for that basement defense. The camera, the information you get, the potential denial by using, the laser bolts. It's all there. It's all there for you as a Maestro player. So banning it out, it's definitely a new one. And because of that, it means that we're actually seeing operators obviously like Mira are going to be left open. We've seen how strong she can be for Bank on nearly every bomb site. Echo, I mean, we've seen a bit of a mishap, I think, last time on Bank. I think, was it Monkey or someone?
I think Monkey was playing the shotgun.
Was it Curly?
Curly playing on the
something,
Echo,
but there's a bit of a mishap. So, Bank, for Hellraisers, whenever we've seen him play against Helios, that was their first map that he played inside the playoffs. They 7-0'd. And then everything turned worse after that 7-0.
That feels like a long time ago.
That is a long time ago.
It was the first game that we opened up with, and that feels like an age ago. And it, by all accounts, was. Now, to electrical that, what are you worried about? Are you really worried about the Selma? Are you really worried about the ace?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, there's no ace. So
that's what I mean. And in reality, what else do you electroclaw? I guess that could be the other question. But then again, maybe why are you picking onto the Cade for this site anyway? Opening kill, as Exodus has attempted and failed to crouch walk his way in.
He's tried to get into the building as quick as he can and find a freebie, but there's no drones to back it up. I mean, you've mentioned it so many times. The reason why Mowgli becomes enabled with finding those opening picks on the attack is he has the two drones beside him. It's almost like him and he's got his two hunting dogs ready to go with him. And, we've seen the impact that Mowgli can do. And it looks as if X has tried to copy that, but he's missing his drones.
There's only 5 drones left. We've only seen a minute. So the prep phase obviously didn't go too well for Hellraisers either. Nade going to come in now from Rush as he is on the rappel. He's going to try and make something happen here. Has he got the information to be working off? Flares is joining him, but Diju is continuing to chalk up the bodies elsewhere. Takes down a mission looking to play vertically and get himself in, I believe in through stock, and maybe look to try and move through that way. Actually just got caught outside of square double door. Not having pressure inside of stock is a really big problem. You need some sort of presence there. You can't afford to attack this site just from the rappel.
Yeah, I mean, Russia's been stationed there for the majority, and you see Totem, they have that castle barricade, you know, they have that protection, not worried about the windows because they cannot find an angle, because I think they lost Exodus. That's a gone 6 gone. That's something that would have helped them a lot with eliminating the castle barricades. A C4 flies right over the head of Smash, but Neox is there with the follow-up. Totem, not letting anything slip. These sneaky plays, these one-man shows that Hellraisers are trying to put on, they're not having it.
It's not happening. There was 3 people
Bad
ready there.
reviews on the one-man shows these days.
There was 3 people there ready to take down Smash. He had so much to worry about, and now is where we can start to see Totem really start to flex. A little run out into main lobby. There's no one to watch it. Rush has been on the rappel for the entire part of the round, and Totem know that. They know exactly where he's going to be playing, and now it becomes a good time to start to stretch your legs and go into that ATM area to take him out. Now, Flair's picked up 2, which puts him at 3 on the round. He's got 2 more to find, 30 seconds, and he has the diffuser. There's going to be no denial left, as we do just see the C4 get thrown on out. Flares, how much information have you got here? Giving away his location, 20 seconds left. He shouldn't be too worried about that. He needs to try and break these engagements down. He's got a Z ping to work with, so maybe he knows roughly where somebody is inside of that meeting room, but he's going to have to try and aggress on through. Totem haven't moved a muscle here, and nor do they need to. Diju, how have you lost that? 5 seconds left, 1 kill left to find. This is going to be an ace clutch if Flares picks it off. He's just going to get lucky on the pre-fire, and he does it! What has he done there, Demo?
He has done the unthinkable! Totem, what? What have you just done? What have you just done? The question mark, thank you, Rush. That's how we're all feeling. A massive question mark. Totem had locked that round out for almost after the first kill. It was just looking so good for them. And then they think it's a 1 versus 4. You mentioned that they know the positions of players, and they thought, oh, we know where the Thermite is. I wouldn't mind a kill. And then the knock-on effect. The dominoes start tumbling. And look what happens. Look, just...
We have praised Totem on patience. We have praised them on that fact. We praised them in Villa. They had such a round advantage in Villa. They had a man advantage in that last round. They had time on their side, and they still didn't push. And yet, as soon as we get into Bank, that just goes out the window. That's now no longer a worthwhile playstyle. No, it needs to continue. It needs to come in from the top.
So, Totem, like, I mean, right, fair enough. People, you know, we've seen teams, some teams like to chase the kills, and it happens. And still in a 1 versus 2, I've seen the positions of the players. I thought, okay, the guy's going to come back upstairs, going to just double up, play an easy 1v2 crossfire.
It wasn't even a crossfire.
He gets the trick. That's it.
How's he been allowed to get through Janitor?
One of the worst 1v2s I have ever seen played.
How has Flares been allowed to get through Janitor, Demo?
I just don't know, like, they have bulletproofs on the site. Let him plant. Just run it. Don't give him the opportunity in a 1 versus 2. Let him plant. Use the time together. Feed off that information. You know, Hellraisers didn't really clear a lot of the utility. There was very, you know, little things really going for them that round until that massive throw. Like, don't get us wrong. Hellraisers, still a bad round from you guys.
Oh, terrible.
Still a bad round. But Totem was just, they've top trumped you in worst plays. Sorry, we have a higher bidder. Sorry.
They had 99. They'd put 99 into bad plays.
Both teams want to play for the loss. I don't know.
Exodus, are you going to see some success this time, or are you going to suffer the same fate? He was taken down very early in the previous round by Diju. Maybe, just maybe, he gets a little bit more success this time. Playing below with the nades on the Iana, looking to get control of one of the staircases nice and early. Could be an option for him. I think he's being buddied up with a mission a little bit more heavily this time, as we didn't really get to see a mission at his full potential. He kind of went down to assist where Exodus had fallen off, but on that skeleton key, he needs to be working from below, and he needs to be trying to shift those players around in sight to assist the players that are on the rappel to then see some success. Mowgli's just flown down the hatch, Demo. How's he gotten away with it? He's landed on top of Exodus's head.
I mean, that's the same pathing that Exodus went for last round, wasn't it? Exact same way, into open area. This time he didn't get challenged from, I think, Kitchen it was, that DG's got him from. And what a shot for Mowgli again. He's just on one once more. And now we're stuck in a similar position. Hellraisers on the windows. They have Skylight, but that's it. That's all they have.
I mean, all they need is flares. That's all they know. That's all they needed last round. Just trying to play for a pick, looking to take advantage of that bad patience, that bad discipline that we've been speaking of Totem, that's only really reared its head inside of that last round, but nobody at the moment really moving, nobody being given a reason to. Smash looking to get his way and take control of this stock area. We do see Flares eventually take down Diju. There's a long way to go.
A bit more patience from Totem again. I'll say that. Look at Mowgli again, kind of hunting. He's here, there, and everywhere. Dropped on the hatch and janitors and now located on the staircase. And Smash will make that LMG sing, but cannot find anything at the moment. Maybe just got a little bit shook up there. Again, Flares opening that wall, and that will give them that breach, give them that control, and still that one man on the windows. Actually, that man on the windows is actually going to drop down through the skylight onto the staircase. Neox there with the refrag, though, but Flares will find one, and now we're sat in a position, Ollie, where it is, again, very uneasy pressure for Hellraisers. He has to make this fight work, but no, Rush will not find that kill onto Neox, and oh, not again, Flares all by himself, but this time it is a much different circumstance. That's a man, yes, he gets another kill, but will run out of time this time around. But again, I mean, Hellraisers, it just looks as if they're waiting for Totem to make the moves rather than them making the moves themselves.
Give Flares another 10 seconds in that situation. Give him another 10 seconds and watch what he does. He's a nightmare. He's dangerous. He's been last alive both times. A close right. You could see Totem. They've been rocked. That first round, I think, has really got to them. And they've tried to shake it off there. And they've done a good job. They've been able to go back to the same site and they've got a different result. But even then, there's a timidness in the way that the last couple of guys are playing, and they're playing the way that we ask them to. They're playing reserved. They're saying, look, Flares, you come to our house, you've got to get the plan down, and we've got to go get a crossfire on you. So they're playing well, but you can see that there isn't that same level of confidence. At least everyone other than Mowgli.
The thing is with Totem, again, it definitely scared them. You know, to lose a 1v5 because you know you're over-peaking. Yeah. You go into that second round, you're not peaking enough at that stage. You know, you're almost peaking you're not holding angles, you're allowing Hellraisers to walk through. I mean, if Hellraisers had played that round a little bit quicker and they look as if they wanted to dictate the pace, I think it would have been a completely different round. But again, I think it comes back to those opening engagements. Hellraisers losing that opening kill once again in the exact same fashion. It's Exus coming in from the same avenue of approach and again just gets jumped by the players at Totem.
Oh, 10 minutes in and Exus has done nothing. He's literally got into, he's got as far as open area demo, and that's really all he's been able to do. He's really, I don't know, he's telegraphing his location. Totem, have they got his number? It's not even the same person killing him every single time. They've just got a good focus. And I guess when you're going up against someone like Mowgli, and Mowgli is the guy. Mowgli is that guy for crouch walking into sight. He is that guy that's getting drawn in. He knows all the routes. He knows the popular spots. He knows where the focus is going to be. Let's see how the opening engagement goes inside of this round. It's been pretty pivotal so far. Smash. Now, Valkyrie's banned. So the IQ pick is questionable.
Probably in response to potentially Echo. Would be the only thing that you could think of.
Even then it's a stretch.
I mean, it helps out. Again, you know, they're spawning out bulletproof. I get what you mean. You know, usually when you see IQ, if Valkyrie's open, and Valkyrie has a massive ban rate at the moment, so you're never really going to see her. Personal preference choice, who knows? This is a lot better from Exodus. We'll win that open engagement against Mowgli, and this is what I think Hellraisers need to do consistently, is win that opening engagement, especially on the attack. If you put Totem in a situation where they're backed up against the corner, you can really abuse that. Because whenever Totem, things aren't going right, they're not the team to go for the rotates. They're not the team to go for the flanks, especially if they don't have Mowgli. If he's gone, you're definitely not going to see any of that. So that gives Hellraisers no potential now to get in, use the verticality. You're bringing the sledge for that reason. There is portions of this bomb site that can be opened up from above. You have the advantage, use it.
Rush doing a little bit of droning there to ensure that he's able to get this wall open nice and easily. Going to be playing on the ace, so gets the Selma charges out onto the wall. A mission to take down onto Eisen. Really making advantage of those vertical angles that the sledge is able to make, and removing the mirror window is likely going to be soon to follow. It's going to make it even more difficult to try and hold on the site. In fact, there's actually nobody from the side of Totem that's going to be in the site at the moment.
Yeah, that's usually what you'll find 9 times out of 10 is because it is so open, because you can utilize the sledge holes that we're seeing, you know, that entire top floor is being remodeled, you almost have to try and defend it from open area, because open area isn't as destructible. You have a good portion of the map that is concrete. Flares will spot out the Echo Drone and then gives that information over the Smash. This is where IQ comes in massive. Neox will try and utilize the smoke, but again, similar to what happened to them against 86, a smoke will cover off that line of sight and the plant goes in, and from this stage, Totem are on the back foot.
It's really good to see attackers using smokes there to be able to block those lines of sight and get the plant down. It now puts a lot of pressure on the remaining players. Link's actually been able to pick himself up 2 kills, and Totem do have an advantage here. If they can try and get somebody onto that disable, they might actually be able to get the job done here. Smash takes down Link, making this a 1 versus 2, where the players are going to line up for him. Yes, they are, but it isn't going to matter. Neox there with the shot that rings on true, takes down Smash, and has enough time to disable that diffuser.
A blinder of a retake from Totem. Realistically, should not win those in that scenario. As soon as that diffuser gets planted in such an open position, you know, we talk about how difficult it is to plant in that bomb site. Equally as difficult to get a diffuse off in that scenario.
Hellraisers didn't know what to do after they got the plant down. Their plan was all up until blocking those lines of sight off with the smoke.
Which they did very well at.
Which is intricate, and it's difficult to pull off. Once they've done that and they've got the plant down, it's kind of like, it's the dog that catches the squirrel. It's like, what do we do now? I mean, what do we do now? We've been chasing the squirrel all day, and now we've got it. And it's like, well, you got to have a plan for afterwards, you know?
In that position where it's being planted, you can hold above. You can have an angle open from the sledge upstairs, and that looks directly down onto the diffuser. And realistically, you know, defenders aren't going to win those engagements 9 times out of 10. So
you need to get someone deep. You need to get them away. You need to get them outside.
They played too close almost.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
They were stood on top of the
There were
plant.
a couple of kills as they scattered. I think they lost a player. I think the main thing is, I think there was a gunfight being won by Neox. I think it was onto the player holding onto the double walls. You can see Eisen reinforcing right now. I think they lost that player to shut down the corridor rotations. I think that was the key element. And as soon as you lose that player, you give the defender so much freedom to set up for those trades and for those refrags. But again, Totem, even in those positions where, you know, they're backed up against the corner, that's what I'm talking about. Hellraisers didn't control that. They let them get out of the cage.
Now, we saw an early timeout from Hellraisers last game. They took it at round number 5.
Keep in mind, this is a defender-sided map usually, so
it is typically.
It's not as bad as what it may seem, but still not, you know, not great either.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Hellraisers use a timeout again early, although it didn't do them any good on Villa. Let's see how they want to try and approach this. They're going to be attacking into open area. Again, it runs very similarly to attacking into tellers, as you've got to get that top floor control. This time, Hellraisers, they're going to be bringing the old fuse demo. Bit of fuse action. Just remove some of that utility in on the site. Obviously, you can get the cluster charges through, and if the hatch is reinforced, for example, you can obviously get that cluster charge onto the hatch, providing it isn't electrified, which I do believe both of those are. So maybe looking more at a bit of crowd control, removing some utility, and just disrupting things on the site.
Yep, fuse comes in. Personally, wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, but that's just my opinion.
Secondary hard breach gadget.
I get it, but he's just too slow. Just
very slow.
Not what you want. You know, you can make the comparison of Gridlock. You know, great. Can bring smokes, can cover off flanks. Still slow. I present you Nomad, does the job. You think about Fuse if you need to open up hatches. I mean, the issue is if you're struggling with opening up, you know, Kite Claws, what have you, Thatcher is staring you right in the face.
But you don't get to chunk Neox down to 5
Don't
HP.
swing this into a good thing.
It's a good thing. Look, Rush nearly took him out there. I'm surprised that Neox actually survived. Rush is going to be able to go for another here. And it's almost like he's following Neox around. Neox, he's got himself down the hatch.
All the way downstairs.
Those pucks will follow you down there, though. Those little hockey pucks that the Fuse discharges. Still, both the hatches are open. Maybe not the most efficient way, but it's a fun way nonetheless. What a kill onto Mowgli. Smashed with the shot there.
Yeah, Mowgli didn't know they actually entered in towards the tellers and was that deep inside of that room, and it did catch Mowgli by surprise. So Mission will use the drone work now to try and find out where that Kide went that was scattered around. But actually just leaves a flank drone for the moment, so they don't know, I think, that Neox is down here. Probably have a suspicion that somebody could be lurking elsewhere. But Exodus could be in for a rude awakening. If nobody's holding that staircase for him, it doesn't look to be the case. Exodus could be in for a world of hurt.
It's all about the players on site holding on now, and Neox needing to pick his time to strike. He hasn't got a lot of health to be really taking a significant engagement. He just needs to kind of catch Exodus off guard here, and now might be his chance. But Smash was there with the cover, watching onto those main stairs. Finkest him for good measure, and now they can start to push on in.
Nade will go down onto that castle barricade, should open it up, and that gives a good line of sight for Emission. DJs will respond with a kill onto Exodus, and still Totem not in a great position. I mean, Emission can really make it work. He can simply walk in and take a swing, he'll find a kill, but Smash is doing all that. 4 kills on the round, 1 more for the ace. Link stuck inside of admin office, has to rotate in towards Archives, but they know exactly where he's going to be. Will he get his ace? Yes, he will. Smash appears when he's needed most for his side. A big ace in the round.
2 aces so far for Hellraisers. Demo, they've only got 2 rounds, and yet they've got 2 aces. Individual player performance stepping up to drag them over the line, saying, we are not done yet. This is not all we've got to say here inside of Challenger League.
I mean, that was a really good round for Hellraisers. And,
it was a great round.
You know,
and you can't diss the fuse pick. Look at what it did.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that.
Give it to Rush. He deserves it.
So the thing with Hellraisers, it's very difficult to overlook what happened in Villa. Very, very tricky, because it was a poor performance from that team. There's nobody stepping up, none of these big plays happening. But right now they're doing the business. I think that was probably their best round they've had all day. 100%. You know, the way they executed that, they knew the positionings of Totem, because Totem, again, that's just what they do. You expect Mowgli in those staircases. They were ready for it. They caught him by surprise. Like I said, for Hellraisers, if you win that opening engagement against Mowgli, it gives you so much freedom. And they've learned from the mistake that they had inside of round 3, where they had that control. They found that opening kill onto Mowgli, but then they lost the retake. That was a lot more commanding. Nobody from Totem could really move. They were stuck in positions they didn't want to be, and it was very easy. You know, I think Smash deployed it, walks in, knows position, bang, 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 like a terrorist hunt. You know exactly what to do.
Electroclaw again being deployed onto the Kanto wall. A little bit of a change up in operator selection for Hellraisers as well. Rush opting for the Dokkaebi this time. Really looking to flex out onto those lesser picked operators. Playing the Fuse last round, Dokkaebi now. Dokkaebi obviously a lot more popular than Fuse, it would be fair to argue, but still not a mainstay. We'll give you the option to search out those roamers a little bit better if there are any. And of course you do have the ability to hack into those cameras if required, but with only defaults and bulletproofs, it isn't going to give you that much info.
Flores will make a hop through. See if he can find any utility. Removes that castle barricade. That was
so
a pesky one for them. Caused them quite a lot of issues, and now that opens up that B bomb site entirely. Nobody from Totem you can see really wants to take those swings anymore, and because they don't have reinforcements on those walls, doesn't leave them with a lot of options. So realistically, the Hellraisers now, they can play those long angles to a very efficient ability. I think the biggest thing with attackers, especially for this bomb site, is just you have that advantage of the long angles. You know, this is, you know, probably, in my opinion, you know, Glaz and Kali, this is where you would expect those big, heavy hitters to really take command. Obviously, in reality, Glaz and Kali doesn't leave you with a lot, but still those long angles can be phenomenal for the attackers.
Look at how much value Exodus is getting out of these Flores drones here. He's removing a lot of the floor there inside of Janitors. It's going to make it so that nobody can play inside of there. The breach is now going to get opened as well. The lack of a mute here is crippling Totem. Opening kill from Smash onto Deju. It will be traded, but then traded back. Smash picking up 2 out of that opening exchange, and they only lose a mission for the trouble. Continuing with the advantage now, it looks as though Hellraisers are going to be well set to try and make their way through into square, covered on the rappel by Rush.
I mean, right now, that Totem, if they realize that nobody's inside a lobby, they could make a rotate to try and eliminate the guys in the window. That's definitely potential, but again, like we've seen before for this bomb site, Totem, after the PTSD effect of that 1 versus 5, maybe they don't want to move, maybe they don't want to play as aggressive, but right now they're just going to get eaten alive in sight. Hexus finds Link, Heisen going to be covered off by the smoke, and Neox, oh, we've seen that position before, and Hellraisers know exactly where he is. They just have to keep him at bay. For the meantime, Smash, can he find another to add to his great tally? That's a great pick from Neox, but really at what cost? The diffuser has been planted, and we mentioned how difficult it is for defenders to retake that Tellers and Archives. Equally, this is a tough challenge,
Probably one of the hardest sites to retake in the entire game,
Just
in
the
the entire
windows.
competitive pool. You've got somebody out on that repel, and unless you've got 2 people, it's going to be very difficult. And even then, you could do with 3. It can be awful to try and retake onto that site. Hellraiser's doing a good job now. They've managed to edge themselves a lead here. And again, you've got to come down to questioning just what is going on with Totem.
Yeah, Totem just too scared.
Why are they bringing that Cade? Why are they cading their electrical in that wall? It is utterly pointless. There is no Hibana. Ace isn't being brought in those rounds as he gets 6-pick 2 in this round. But it is really a big waste of utility. Throw a mute jammer on that wall if you're worried. The mute is crucial. There was so much value that we saw Hellraisers able to get out of those Flores drones, their information that they were able to gather. Too easy. Hellraiser made that round look exceptionally simple. And the biggest shock demo is we keep going up to that top floor where there's currently a 3-to-1 win rate for Reply up on that top floor. They've still not tried downstairs in the basement.
Nobody likes downstairs anymore. Nobody wants to go there. And I think it's... If you look at basement, right, it is so simple to attack. Realistically, if you were to make a checklist off that basement, it would be clear roamers, open hatches, plant at a blind spot. That's the biggest issue with a lot of bomb sites that maybe aren't as favored, is blind spots. So blind spots, for anyone who doesn't know, is positions that you physically cannot get an angle to kill somebody who's trying to get a diffuser down. So blind spots are not favored for defenders, because the only way you deal with blind spots is either getting really lucky and going for a swing, which usually is met by you getting your head taken off you as soon as you peek, or through the means of utility such as smoke, such as Maestro, such as C4s. But other than that, it's, you know, it is very, very difficult to really lock down a strong defense on that bank without going very heavy in the roam game. And then again, teams on the roam game, it's always going to be risky because you never know what's going to happen. You know, you could lose a round off the roam game, or you could win it. But is that a risk you want to take?
Totem certainly need to try and come up with something. This is going to be the last round that they're defending. Still option for them to come out at a 3-3 split, but with how bank usually trends, that wouldn't necessarily be seen as favourable. Going to see the wall be opened up now. Nice little line of sight getting through there. Not too much, not too little.
Yeah, and also the fact that he shot the second Selma as it drops down means that nobody can actually jump through it. So if you're a defender, you might want to utilize that as a rotate potentially, but because it's only been used just as a single line, you're not going to be able to do that. So well done to Hellraisers for making sure that doesn't happen. It's actually something I think they slipped up on in previous rounds where they fully opened it up and it gave a rotate over to the defenders in a scenario. So yeah, good adaptation, good realization of that. So right now for Totem, again, it's very claustrophobic.
Oh, they're stacked. They're just stacked.
They're just packed in like sardines.
I'm not sure why they're so stacked up like this. They're desperately trying to open up hatches and give themselves options to try and get out of there. But they've got no presence on the roam. It doesn't look like a flank's on the cards unless somebody is able to drop through a hatch and then, by some miracle, make the way past the myriad of drones that are alive still here for Hellraisers. Now we're seeing Flores drones come through, and that's when things really start to get tricky. Now, Diju, it's the oldest drone in the book. It's in between the vending machines. Are you going to find it? I believe the answer is no. But he will make his way up regardless. Immediately gets droned. It's bad timing and a very unfortunate circumstance for that. Amishin going to take advantage there of the swing. Diju obviously feeling the pressure, feeling like he had to make something happen, Demo.
He didn't need to. You know, you get droned out, they know you're there, and wow, what a play from Neox. Will absolutely catch Flares with his pants down, and well, that's a great kill to get back, but then again, his position is known. Above him is open, but as you can see, Amishin is not in a position to really get to that. Instead, will use the nade, and that's a second for him inside this round. So Hellraisers will respond, but Totem, again, still not in a good position for themselves.
Especially with Eisen there getting taken down. Smash has been a key player throughout this attacking half here so far for Hellraisers. And again, doubling down with Rush. Mowgli on the roam. Can he make the flank happen? He cannot. Rush in position to knock him down. And we see Hellraisers with a night and day difference in their playstyle here, Demo. This map, they have come alive. They are not out of this competition just yet.
Great rally. Great stuff from Hellraisers, pulling it back into this game and actually giving us a competitive match. You know, after the 7-1 of Villa, I don't think many people had their expectations high for this side going into the second map. And consider it as a bank which think both teams can play a good bank, which so it would have, you know.
Well, we know
definitely
Hellraisers can play a good bank.
Yeah.
They 7-1'd on it in the first play day. So we knew that they had...
7-0.
So it was 7-0. They knew that we had a good expectation.
Well, give them the respect. Even though it was against Heal, give them the respect.
I do apologise. We do know that Hellraisers are able to perform on this map. We know that Reply are able to perform as well. Now, we also know that Reply are a great team on the attack. By no means is this one over. But look at where we're going to first.
Straight basement. Okay, interesting.
Straight to the basement. I like this.
Yeah.
I'm about this lifestyle.
So the only worry I have for Totem is they're not utilising the Thatcher, and Kaid is still open. Keep that in mind, Kaid is open, and, you know, for dealing with hatches, that's going to be tricky. But I have a feeling why Totem are not going to go for the Thatcher is this is a bit of a classic from Hellraisers. We've seen them do this a lot. And the way they play this basement is to go for that roam. I mentioned on basement, very, very easy to attack. So you almost force yourself into going for the roam. And that's what Hellraisers are going to try and achieve. So with this roam, it means that you have to open up the hatches to then deny any chance of, you know, teams just straight taken from server into the bomb site and try and go for a plant. You need to have control of those hatches. That hatch will dictate, I think, the majority for both teams. Whoever controls the hatch will win the round. That is as simple as I can make this, Ollie. Whoever holds that one hatch will rule them all. One hatch.
The one hatch.
Rule them all. Don't know why I do this myself.
It's an ambitious way of holding from Hellraisers, and you can see the confidence is obviously brimming after a good attack phase.
But Totem have been great, though, for picking apart these kind of setups. You know, they, like we said, they see what they want and they'll get it one way or another.
Yeah, and a 2-4 split isn't going to rock Totem all. You can see they're still operating exactly the same as
there it is!
But they're still doing the same things we know them to be capable of. Now, the only strange thing here is Neox that's potentially going to get himself in through garage. Now, he did just jump in his drone, so I imagine he's going to find out that there is going to be somebody playing in there. But especially as the ace...
Rush could get snuck up on right now, realistically, if you think about it.
I think he's still in his yokai. He's just getting his feet shot there. He takes a little bit of damage. Neox doesn't really want to get himself wrapped up into this engagement. He sees when Rush is just jumping down into the camera, whether it be by Bulletproof or by yokai. Shots now further exchanged, and Neox goes, nope, I'm not having any part of that. Straight out of there.
Sketchy, just absolute sketchy siege, realistically. And now where are we going to see Totem move? They attempted that kind of garage take. Didn't work for him, got scared off, but there's Mowgli. Makes a play, open things up for his team now. Exodus will be in the midst of an engagement against that LMG, and actually finds a nice little burst onto that Sophia. Mowgli goes down to flares. Only the down though, so Neox still potential to go for the pickup, but time is slowly ticking away for Totem, which is the only issue you would have right now.
Neox is going to be able to get the revive there, which is pretty substantial. Getting Eisen back on his feet, allowing that lifeline to sing a little bit more. In fact, I think the lifeline's actually empty at this point, but still, you get the LMG. Kill's going to continue to trade here as Exodus is a problem. No one's been able to get rid of him there out of the archive. Maybe now Deju just coming down to get the job done, but you wonder, as the book, why is this not already open?
I don't know why this guy hasn't been targeted. It looks as if he will now start, but that's the exact same position that Exodus killed your teammate from. That exact same angle of mission finds Neox, and the roam game has worked out extremely well from Hellraisers, but let's be honest, Totem, they didn't respect it. They did not respect this single man inside of Archives.
The entire ceiling is destructible. You've got a book. Open the floor, open the ceiling, open the floor, get it open, make him feel uncomfortable in there. Finally, we're going to start to see a bit of lifeline deployed inside, but it's too little too late. There's 10 seconds, 3 kills to find. Eisen, he ain't going to do it. Exodus, single-handedly, has won the round from inside of Archives.
Christmas comes early for Exodus because he just got a bunch of kills and didn't really struggle. He played in one room and one room alone. And they peaked him one by one by one. You can't be taking those kind of challenges. I mean, he's still playing against Russians, and Russians in Siege, like we know, the gun skill that they have, you know, it's incredible. It's the reason why we see Team Empire do so well. Virtus Pro, of course, you know, still in there. And you have to respect this side. Even though Hellraisers have looked pretty deflated, I would say, coming into the playoffs for a lot of their maps that they've had. But still, you have to give them that credit of respect. No matter, you know, how bad they have played, we still know the potential of that team and what they've showcased us in the past.
Now, I've got a little sneaking suspicion. Obviously, we're in a timeout at the moment for Reply Totem. Now, we mentioned that Totem are a little bit timid sometimes on the match point. Now, they got a really good win on Villa for map 1. Is this like the same problem, but just exasperated over like a bigger stage, as it were? They've won the first map inside of a best of 3, and now we come out and we just see like it's almost as if the players have swapped accounts. It's like we're seeing Totem play on Hellraiser's accounts and Hellraiser's play on Totem accounts, with the night and day difference. Thinking about Villa and the way that went, then you look at Bank and you think, we know Hellraisers can play Bank, and it isn't really to discredit them at all. I think they've played fantastically. Barring the ace round from Flares, which shouldn't really have been allowed to happen, the siege that they've played has been exceptionally good. But Totem just aren't even on the pitch at the minute.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that comes down to that first round. Because we have to highlight that.
It can't tilt you for that long, though.
Could.
As a professional team, you cannot allow that to carry through.
I will argue that with keep in mind that, Totem, as a whole of a team, still very young. DJs is really the only player with experience in this lineup to a higher extent. And that was almost 2.5 years ago that we seen him playing at a top level. So it has been quite a while. And, a 1v5, especially in the caliber that it happened, it's never going to be nice to come back from. And maybe I'm reading into it too much. Maybe this is me, with the conspiracy theories and all that stuff. But, it is what it is, and you have to highlight it.
If that was the 2 a.m. rank stack, the stack would disband after that.
Oh, you'd be done.
You'd be going to bed.
Oh, somebody would be gone after the first round. After that happened, that's it. I'm done. I'm not playing.
You'd be going to bed, and you'd be going to bed in a loss. But that isn't the stage that we're in right now. This is for a spot inside of EU. And there's a lot more at stake here for Totem. They need to be able to rally. Hopefully for them, that timeout has done something. It's quite late in the context of this game to call that timeout at round number 8 when you sit at 2-5.
There's no room for Totem to feel sorry for themselves. There's no room for it. Focus at the job at hand. Don't worry about, what happens if we don't lose the map. Worry about that whenever it happens. But right now, you still have potential to pull this back. It's still there for Totem. Hellraisers, all credit to them. I think that first defense really shows the caliber and how they're probably going to play the majority of these defensive rounds is with that heavy roam game. I think their trade setup has been great. So right now, things are looking quite decent for Hellraisers to a good extent. It's just what will Totem do to respond? We've talked about Totem, how good their drone work is, how good they've been in that opening kills. This is what I'm talking about with Mowgli. Good, one game. The next game, liability. This is what I'm talking about, the consistency from Totem. If Totem are relying solely on that one player, no, that's not how that works. Look at Eisen. Didn't want to mention it. 0 kills, 6 deaths.
Didn't want to mention it, but you're going to.
Yeah.
It's a good drone that Exodus has actually been able to sneak away. He's managed to hide it on top of one of the bushes inside of the main lobby. This time, thankfully, Diju is going to be opening up this floor with the skeleton key, exactly as the book should be. Something that we were calling for in the previous round. Drones not going too badly at the moment for Totem. Smash is still yet to be dealt with. Opening kill onto Exodus. The big problem in the last round was Exodus and his ability to hold on so hard inside of Archives. This time he's been removed. Obviously dealing with a different site, but still a good player to get it out of action. Will be a C4 in Rush's hands, and he knows that the floor's getting opened above him, so he could see opportunity to try and use that. Mowgli gets himself down to Smash. He's been unaccounted for. He's just been hanging around that main stairs. There's nobody there that's really in a position to do anything about him.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the position that Mowgli plays, and he's just lost to it, which is very surprising. But again, just the time isn't working for Totem. Haven't got the hatches open. Haven't really got anything to play with, and you can see the difference in attack level. Hellraiser at this stage, Totem were stuck in the mud. They couldn't move an inch. And look at Totem, they're allowing, the rotates. We're seeing them still roam around the place. The first thing that Hellraisers did whenever they attacked this bomb site was rip open Archives and Tellers right off the rip. Because it stopped anyone from playing there, stopped the safe position. Look at the difference. We have had a Kaid in this position for the whole round, and he has been unchecked, hasn't took a single bit of damage.
And that's the frustrating thing, because Diju has been on that top floor and he has opened things up, but he's been unable to try and get the kill. He's even going to get taken out there by Smash as a mission. Adds on to the pain here, leaving Neox in the 1 versus 4. 4 seconds left. Another round here that we can chalk up to Hellraisers, and it's going to put them, Demo, onto a map point. Primed and ready to level this series up 1 map apiece and then throw us into the ultimate best of 1 on Clubhouse.
Both teams just like the stock market, going down, going up. It's just, how do you explain it? How do you explain that?
It's difficult to quantify.
Fugazi, isn't it?
It really is difficult to quantify when you go from a 7-1 to now being 2-6 to understand and to figure out just what's gone wrong in the space of a 5-10 minute desk section.
It's a quick game and a long game at the same time, because right now it definitely looks as if third map is on the way.
Yeah.
Like I said about Totem, whenever they were 6-1 up, I don't see them losing it. I'm saying the same about Hellraisers. I don't see them losing Bank.
It's not that I don't see Hellraisers losing it. I just don't see Reply picking up 4 rounds in a row. Hellraisers can play whatever they want. I just don't see Reply picking 4 rounds in a row. That is the fact of the matter. They have been unable to shut them down at every single turn. Look at Smash, 12-4.
Yep.
Flares, 10-4. He's the hard sub. He plays Thermite and Echo. Fair enough, he got 5 kills in 1 round, but we'll ignore that.
There's been some great supports coming out of this season.
There really
I have
has.
to say. That some great players. I mean, look at Neox, look at Link, look what they've been able to do. You know?
I mean, Link in the last game,
Yeah,
on
phenomenal.
Villa,
Yeah.
10 kills. Where are the kills for Totem at the moment? We've got Neox on 9.
I mean, whenever you don't have your entry stepping up, that's a worrying sign.
Is it the entry or is it the drone work? Which is it? It's one or the other? Or a mixture of both? We know that.
I don't know if we can say the drone work, because that's been the one shining light throughout any map, any game for Totem. We've praised their drone work.
I think their big problem has been the decision-making. The decisions to not utilise that skeleton key enough. I just don't think they've opened enough floor.
Is it a lack of experience on Bank? It shouldn't be. They played this map. They left it open. They want to go here, obviously. So it shouldn't be an issue for them. But yeah, like you said, they're missing key components that we almost take for granted whenever we see teams do it week in, week out. And I think Hellraisers on the attack, they showcased how strong the verticality can be, utilising the bucket, utilising the sledge. And again, for this bomb site, you can open everything up. Like, you can go into that bomb site, rip apart everything.
You think about the way that Hellraiser approached this. They brought a fuse. They weren't scared. They weren't just, like, making the odd skeleton key hole here and there for a piece of utility. Like, that was fused open and players were forced out. And then the hatch was opened. And it was like, oh, we can't play here anymore. The hatch is still intact. Sure, we've gotten rid of a bulletproof camera. What are you going to do? Push in through the window? Like, what are you going to do off the back of that?
So the big thing now comes down to DJs if he can actually find this kite. Because we have seen a player in Archives almost every single round for Hellraisers, and every single round they have been unchecked. That has been a big issue for them. Looks as if Rush isn't going to chance his hand. He's going to decide to rotate out. So the both bomb sites are clear. Okay, that's job one from Totem. Make sure nobody is sitting in the immediate bomb sites. Now, the next thing is cover off the rotations, because your whole key is going to be get down to diffuser. That's what we want to do. And then you go for the plant. Simple, difficult retake for the defenders. The big thing that comes down to now for Totem is how well can they stop the guys in open area getting out of open area. That's what it comes down to.
Looks as though the electrical is still in place on the wall that goes into Tellers. So it's not going to be too easy to thermite that wall open just yet. And with less than a minute left, and that being the typical default plant spot.
They could plant Archives if they want to as well. I mean, there's definitely potential for it, but maybe they want to try and catch the guys in open area by surprise. The castle barricade gets open. Mowgli with that grenade, looking for the swing, looking for the peak. Emission will respond with some shots of his own. Who will win this engagement? Neither of them right now, but the double swing comes in from Emission. He peeks once, he peeks twice, and that will end his raid inside of the kitchen. Totem find 2 kills, but upstairs Smash with a massive flank. Now he has the vertical holes and also an Echo Drone to feed off information.
It's going to be so difficult now to try and get this plant down. 15 seconds left, and Smash can even make more angles for himself to try and peek from. Eisen going to burst on through to try and get this plant down. As we do hear one of the Yokais go off. Flares picks himself up too. The plant isn't even going to go down as Eisen comes off it. Hellraisers, they are going to storm their way through Bank here, level things up 1-1 in the series, and guarantee us a 3rd map in Clubhouse. What a set of performances. Back to back, anything you can do, I can do better. Hellraisers, I do not think I've seen a team rally as hard as that inside of a best of 3 with this much on the line ever.
2 players and 13 kills. 2 players stepping up big time. I mean, this is the thing with Hellraisers is they didn't look as if they had consistent players throughout, their course of the tournament so far. You know, they had to rely on a mission, and I think that was, very prevalent. If somebody isn't carrying for this side, they fall off. Now we're in a situation where 2 players have decided to wake up, and now we're in scary territories because where do you go from here? You see one team respond after getting dominated the first map, and a team who was that dominating team, now they are getting dominated. What happens next?
It's very difficult to call at the moment. Both teams having big individual performances. We think about the aces that we saw there from Hellraisers. Think about Exodus and what he was able to do. Smash, Rush. You can name everybody on the roster and everybody put in an equal performance. And these are names that we barely even heard inside a Villa. There was no time we were screaming out those names at all because it was a 7-1. They got smashed. They got thrashed.
I mean, then you look at Totem, there's imposters there. There's players there who were not even in the running.
Fast asleep.
So
where do we go from here? Hopefully, our wonderful analyst desk is going to be able to make just a little bit of sense of this game. We're going to cut to a short break before we get map 3 ready. You're going to get back with the desk very shortly.